What are the exact god rolls of all the new weapons from the new dungeon, Warlord's Ruin? Are any of these weapons good? Are they going to shake up the meta in PvE or PvP? We're going to be doing a breakdown in today's video. Starting with the new sidearm, Indebted Kindness. We're going to give you the information you need to know in regards to all of the perk options in the left and right hand column. So let's start with this one first. In the right hand column here, we have Surrounded, Adagio, Volt Shot, Attrition Orbs, Deconstruct, and Permeability. Those are all of the options. So if you do the new dungeon and you get this item to drop for you, it will have one of those perks in that column. I think that the best perk in this column is going to end up being Volt Shot. It's a little more of an ad clear perk. You do have to reload the weapon constantly, and this weapon does kind of suffer from having really low ammo. So that's what we're going to talk about in the left hand column now. Over here you have 6 options as well: Lead from Gold, Impulse Amplifier, Offhand Strike, Enlightened Action, Loose Change, and Beacon Rounds, which is a new perk that gives this weapon tracking actually, and does feel pretty nice. However, due to the very low ammo economy of the weapon, I really think that Lead from Gold is going to stand out the most here. So that way, every time you pick up a power pack, you also get more special ammo. That will feel really nice. Let me know which roll of this weapon you'll be chasing for. In my opinion, god roll is going to be Lead from Gold and Volt Shot. Next up is the Vengeful Whisper. This is a strand precision frame bow, and it actually does get double damage perks, which is especially what you want in PvE. A lot of weapons that get double damage perks we use regularly, like Fatebringer, Zali's Bane. Honestly, a lot of the King's Fall weapons have double damage perks. This is the first ever strand legendary bow in the game, so we're going to go with Explosive Head in the left hand column here. Alternatively, the other perk options, in case you don't agree with my god roll opinion, we have Hipfire Grip, Archer's Tempo, Explosive Head, Keep Away, Enlightened Action, and the Slice perk are all the options you can get here. In the right hand column, I think the best perk is going to be Precision Instrument. Your other options are Successful Warm-Up, Offhand Strike, Hatchling, Collective Action, and High Ground. With these two double damage perks, it's actually going to make it pretty potent, but do keep in mind that strand weapons do less than kinetic weapons due to a sandbox design where Bungie wants the elemental weapons to do more damage to shielded combatants, and then kinetic weapons do more damage to non-shielded combatants. So unfortunately, kinetic bows are going to outclass this one a little bit due to that fact. They do like 15% less damage. It's kind of a frustrating pain point in the weapon sandbox. For the arrow shaft, you want Compact Arrow Shaft, and then Elastic String for the string here. That's going to round out your 5 out of 5 god roll for PvE. The next weapon we're going to talk about is Name's Lance, a 140 RPM strand sniper rifle. This is the first ever 140 RPM strand sniper to come into the game. Now, initially I thought maybe this thing would be extremely potent in PvP. It unfortunately doesn't have the best PvP perks, and on top of that, it doesn't necessarily have the best PvE perks. So I really don't know where to place this in the current sandbox other than mid at best, but let's give you a breakdown anyways. We'll give you a breakdown of the weapon anyways, of all the perk options, so that way you can decide for yourself. In the right hand column here, we have Demolitionist, High Ground, Slice, Attrition Orbs, Deconstruct, and Precision Instrument. And then in the left hand column here, we have Reconstruction, Keep Away, Hatchling, Discord, Loose Change, and Surplus. Those are all the options. None of those combinations stand out as being a DPS machine or crazy weapon in PvE or in PvP in my opinion. So comment down below the god roll of the Name's Lance that you think you're going to grind for, if you're going to grind for one, that is. And the last weapon we're going to talk about is the Dragon Colt Sickle. It's a caster frame sword, which is the least popular type. Was kind of hoping that Bungie would buff this archetype with the launch of this season and with this weapon being featured in the dungeon, but unfortunately we didn't get that, so it doesn't really have a good place within the sandbox in PvP or PvE currently. The perks that it can get in the right hand column are as follows. We have Whirlwind Blade, Surrounded, Chain Reaction, Golden Tricorn, Hatchling, and Attrition Orbs. And then in the left hand column, we have Tireless Blade, Assassin's Blade, Demolitionist, Unrelenting, Duelist Trance, and the new perk Slice. Given that this is not a DPS weapon, that this doesn't do the best single target damage, really the only way to use a sword like this is for ad clear, which I wouldn't really recommend at all. Honestly, Sunshot could probably do better ad clear than this sword, which, you know, then you have infinite primary ammo as well. So if you are going to use this, and if you're going to use it for ad clear, I guess the roll you'd go with would be Demolitionist in the left hand column, and then Chain Reaction in the right hand column, so that way you get those explosions. It could be fun in low level activities, strikes, patrols, whatever it may be, but really not that enticing of a weapon. Unfortunately, all the 4 weapons that we got aren't really shaking up the sandbox in PvP or PvE. The only one that I think even has some potential is probably this new sidearm. Obviously, a rocket sidearm is something we've never seen before. I think that Bungie wanted to take the conservative route though, and not over-tune it initially and then have to nerf it once or twice, or have the entire Crucible sandbox or PvE sandbox just be completely obliterated until they put a fix out for it. Maybe even have to disable the weapon, right? This is an entirely new archetype of weapon, so I think they went the conservative route and didn't make it extremely overpowered, but I would be extremely surprised if Bungie didn't issue a massive buff to this weapon pretty soon, so it might be worth it to grind for the god roll, at least of the sidearm in my opinion. Maybe caster frames get a buff too, that would be awesome. If those two things happen, then we're cooking, you know, then it's time to grind for some god rolls in the new dungeon, but until those things happen, really you could probably spend your time grinding for other god rolls and other weapons that are going to do a lot more for you. But let me know your thoughts and ideas about this down in the comments below, and click on the screen here to watch another video from this channel. And if you're feeling thirsty out there, make sure to use code LUCKY10P to save some money on G Fuel. Also, make sure you're following me on Twitch and Kick. I go live all the time playing Destiny 2. Lastly, make sure you're following me on X, Instagram, and TikTok, where I deliver Destiny 2 news to you daily. I appreciate all the followers out there.